and it further drove my interest in Ghana as a country. Nobody wants to walk around feeling like they have to look over their shoulders. One of the things that actually has driven a lot of Nigerians away from home is the fact that the security level here is topsy-turvy. I mean topsy-turvy. Ghana is leading the way on, and it is good roads. Good roads is so important to have. I mean, do you know how frustrating it is for you to get from point A to point B?
Ghana is leading in Africa, and this Nigeria lady shared 5 reasons why she personally loves Ghana and things other Africans need to learn from Ghanaians.
Things I personally loved about Ghana. Now, the people of Ghana are very friendly. They are very peaceable people. I think a lot of people have keyed and have noticed this about Ghanaians in general, in their mannerisms, in the way they speak, and in the way they communicate. I had a couple of Ghanaian teachers back in the day, and I could tell there was a distinct difference between my Ghanaian teachers and my Nigerian teachers. Again, as I said, we're not in this to compare, but what I noticed about my Ghanaian teachers were they were calmer, slightly softer spoken. One thing I love about Ghana is the peaceable nature of the people. It's something that each and every one of us, regardless of our country, we can sort of emulate. Being a peaceable person actually pays more than being dramatic and overly over the top, overly animated, talking with loud, raised voices. We can learn something from that. Because I said earlier, my husband is from Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe and Ghana have a special relationship. But one thing that I took away from what he had told me about the history of Ghana and Zimbabwe is the fact that they came together as one through love and all of that. I know you're curious. I'm not going to tell you now. Now, when a country has peaceable people, what do you think happens? Of course, the country will be peaceable because people are the vehicles that rule and run countries. So if a peoples are peaceful in nature, then obviously the country will be a peaceful place to be because it starts and stems from the mentality of people. That is the learned behavior that basically is a catalyst. Now, Ghana is known as the most peaceful country in Africa. And I think that is something to actually raise your brows over because they are actually known for the peaceable nature they exhibit. If we are peaceable in nature, then obviously our environment, our children, our legacy will be more peaceable in nature. Now, the security is coming on the back foot of Ghana being a peaceable country. Ghana has been noted for actually having quite stable security, where crime rates are not high. A friend of mine who's from Ghana had actually said to me once, so basically she had said to me at the time that Ghana has quite a low crime rate, that if you mistakenly forget to lock up properly after yourself, that when you come back, your stuff, everything is still intact. She also took it further and said that if you go out really late in the night, that you wouldn't have the fear of being jacked up or being robbed and all of that. And it was quite strange. If you mistakenly leave your door open, my dear, please, as you are coming back home, pass through the electronics store to buy replacements for most of these items. Obviously, that's a bit exaggerated, but obviously, like in certain areas, if you forget to lock up properly, then you might actually cry because you might have your items nicked within the twinkle of an eye. That made me quite intrigued, and it further drove my interest in Ghana as a country. Nobody wants to walk around feeling like they have to look over their shoulders. One of the things that actually has driven a lot of Nigerians away from home is the fact that the security level here is topsy-turvy. I mean topsy-turvy. 1 minute it seems stable, and then the next it just basically escalates out of control to the point where you literally were looking for places to run to. And there's nothing worse than, having a people run into countries where they're not wanted. Nigeria does have a bit of way to go in terms of stabilizing security for its people, but we're talking about Ghana today, so let's not digress. The security in Ghana is really quite impressive because year in, year out, this has been sort of maintained on a certain level where it's not as volatile as some other countries within the continent. It's made literally like hundreds of people relocate or look into Ghana as a country of interest for possible relocation. Now, the next thing is the economy of Ghana. This again has been quite stable over the past few years. Now, Ghana's current population stands at 30.8 million. So they basically recorded an increase of 6.1 million from the last census count. Now, obviously, this would have some sort of impact on their economy. But at the moment, Ghana's economy has been quite stable and quite an advanced infrastructure in Africa. The country's water, electricity, and mobile network infrastructure is actually quite impressive, and it has progressed quite a bit over the last couple of decades. I guess this is also one of the reasons why we have a lot of Nigerians talking about Ghana in general. The provision of basic social amenities in the country.
These things she had just said and many more, a lot of foreigners, when they see these things and they come to Ghana, you always see them talking about the developments in Ghana, especially our neighbors Nigeria. They are so marveled to see this infrastructure in the country. The roads in Ghana are all put together.
For instance, we're going to be talking about the electricity in Ghana. The electricity in Ghana is quite good when you compare it to various other countries in Africa. It's quite stable, and the need for getting generators and alternative means of power supply is low compared to other countries. And this also has an impact on businesses like SMEs and entrepreneurs, because basically when you factor in the cost of providing your own private electricity supply, this can have a devastating effect on SMEs, and this can hinder their growth. So this is really such a good thing that Ghana has, which basically helps to increase the contribution that the SMEs are currently making to the country. And this is something that is needed for every economy to thrive. The fact that a country would provide amenities to empower the people to be able to stand on their own, not just stand on their own, but take it further by being able to empower others within the community. So the electricity is quite amazing. It doesn't just stop at the fact that, oh, there's power and you can enjoy the power supply. But if you look at it from an economic standpoint, this actually helps to drive the economy, to drive the country towards a richer and more positive goal. Now, this brings us to, again, another amenity that Ghana is leading the way on, and it is good roads. Good roads is so important to have. I mean, do you know how frustrating it is for you to get from point A to point B and you double your travel time by 2 or 3 times because you are saddled with traveling on a bad road? Do you know how many accidents have happened because of bad roads? Do you know how many lives have been lost because of bad roads and poor network infrastructure? That is so bad, and it's something that we actually hail Ghana for. Having a lot of potholes on the road is actually a hazard, not only for the accidents, which is absolutely crazy. Robbers can actually use these potholes as a way to rob people because they know that people would be slowing down. There would be a little bit more activity on that area where people are slowing down and people are trying to go over this bad roads carefully. And once that happens, there's an opportunity which they jump into. So having good roads is just something that every economy needs to have. It's not something that the government does as a favor to the people. The people are actually entitled to being able to commute from one place to the other without sweating or having palpitations. So Ghana's good roads is something that we're definitely one of the things that I am loving about the country.
You can tell that this lady actually loves Ghana so much, and all what she have listed about Ghana is actually accurate. like I said before, and even many more. There's a lot of amazing things this country have provided and also offered for Africa. If you have not visited Ghana before, you might think, oh, just Ghana, there's not much in Ghana, but trust me, as we speak right now, Ghana is topping the list in a lot of things in Africa. Ghana have always been leading. They are the first to gain independence in Africa. So for a country to be the first to gain independence is not a joke at all. So this country have always been in the map. They have a lot of infrastructure in the country, amazing government hospital. When it comes to the hospital in Ghana, the leaders are really trying in that area. When it comes to educational system, name it. A lot of amazing things in the country. So Ghana have really tried to put the African map to the world, and the way they treat people. They also talk about the electricity in Ghana. Of course, Ghana have 24-hour electricity, and that is one thing we Nigerians were also praying to also at least able to acquire good electricity in our country. She also spoke about the fact that the economic in Ghana is also doing well. She spoke a lot about the country. She spoke about the fact that the people, the Ghanaians are peaceful people. They are the one that brought the peace to the country. I have said this before in my previous video. Ghana is peaceful because Ghanaians are peaceful. They are the people who brought the peace. If Ghanaians are not peaceful, there's no way the country will be peaceful. So we are really grateful to see how Ghanaians have put the country and put Africa to the map. Please, at this point, if you have not liked the video, do me well by liking the video, okay? And don't forget to also subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notification bell so whenever I upload a new video, you're not going to miss out on my amazing future content. And please do not forget to also comment your thought below of what you also think of the video. And I will see you in my next video. Bye for now and stay blessed.